Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about the iPhone again. Not just about the iPhone 11. Apple released iOS 14. Now with that, what's that got to do with video photography, you may ask, is they played with the camera app. Now there's nothing groundbreaking that they did with it, but they did do some really cool tweaks that I'm very happy about, and you might not be aware of, or how to get in to set this up and where to find some of the settings. So let's get into it. So the camera app supposedly is about 90% faster. It now does 4 frames per second for shooting still photos. That's pretty good. So having the whole app a little faster is really good. And supposedly when you go and select into portrait mode, it's supposedly about 25% faster. But they've done some playing with exposure control, which is very good in my opinion, because having the greater control over what you want versus what the camera wants is always a good thing. Okay, I got my little test subject here, a little glass pumpkin, just so I can show you when I'm changing exposure or locking focus and things like that. I got a little subject to shoot on. So that's why this little pumpkin is sitting here. Now, they have done a few upgrades within the app. Some you have to go into your camera settings to get to. So let's go into the camera settings and see what they've changed within the camera app there. We open up the camera app in the settings section, and you can see all your standard stuff at the top. But if you notice, there's one here. It says use volume up for burst, and there's an on and off to it. Well, the volume up for burst basically means you can use your volume control on the side of your phone to take burst photos. I personally never do burst photos. I don't need that. But someone who does like that or likes the ability to do that, well, you just simply go into your settings, click on that, and then you can use your up volume button to do burst photos. Kind of handy if you're into the bursting. Now, when you scroll down a little further, just under composition, it's got grid, then it's got mirror front camera. That's a new add-on. So with the mirror front camera, basically what it does is it gives you a mirror image. So after you've taken the picture, you have your choice of how you want it, whether it's rotated one way or the other, and it's a mirrored image. So you can simply select that to the on position for your mirrored image from the front camera. That's basically all there is within the settings. Let's get into the camera app and see what they've done there. Let's open up the camera app. So we open up the camera app and everything basically looks the same. You click on the chevron at the top and you can see the little yellow symbol there because I've already clicked on it, and that brings up our exposure compensation. That is very handy. So I can still come in here. Let me set this back. That's normal right there. So I just click and hold like I've always done before, and that locks my exposure and my focus. But with this exposure meter at the bottom, I can then adjust it however I want. So even if I bring it all the way down, my exposure is locked. So even if I show it one of my studio lights, it's got it locked down. So that is very handy that they've got this little slider bar. And if you look at the top by where the flash is, you have a little bar there, and you can see I'm -1 on the exposure, which is really good. So that's the change that they've done within for photos, is you can have the ability to lock your autofocus and you can lock your exposure, but then you can use that little slide bar at the bottom to tweak your exposure easily to exactly where you want. Now, it also does, if you click on the screen and lock your focus, you can adjust like normal by sliding up on the screen your exposure. But if I bring that little chevron thing back, I can add to it. So now I have a greater range of exposure because the two stack. Kind of handy. So that's all they've done for the photo part of it. The ability to greater control your exposure, which for me, fantastic. I love having more freedom to do what I want with the phone. So that is fantastic. Now let's have a look at video. So now when I come into video, I don't see anything any different on here. But if you notice the top where it says 4K and it says 30, the iPhones before, it never really did anything. So if I tap on the 4K now, hey, wait, it just switched to HD. Now if I click on the 30 for frame rate, 60, 30, I can change the frame rate. Let's go back on HD. Whoa, 60, 24, 30, 60. I can change the frame rate and the video resolution in the app. That is fantastic. Before, you had to go into the camera settings or into the phone settings, into the camera app, then change your resolutions there. So have the ability to do it within the app, in my opinion, is awesome. Now, they were talking about where the exposure, you can control it like you could with a photo, but where is it? There's no chevron, there's no visible symbol. If you take your finger and simply swipe up on the phone, you can see how I've got the flash symbol on the left now, and I've got that little circle with the plus and minus symbol. So if I click on it, look at that. I have the exact same ability in video to lock my focus. I can change the exposure by using that little slider and it stays. And having that ability, fantastic, because that way I can just adjust the exposure without locking my focus. So if I'm setting my camera up and I'm moving at different distances from it, if I lock my exposure, well, I'm going to come in and out of focus depending on where I lock the focus. But this way I can adjust the exposure and it stays, and I haven't played with the focus, so the focus will still change. Or you can simply come back, let me come back to 0 there, and you can do the same thing. You just click and hold on it, locks my exposure, and it locks my focus. But I can use the slide bar at the bottom, same as in the photos, and adjust my exposure. Same thing again, I can just hit the side of the little box there after I've got it locked. Come back here. And I can just simply slide up or down, and those two exposures stack as well. Kind of handy. I like having that extra ability. The more the camera lets me control the settings, the more I like it, because there's a lot of scenarios, like I say, where the camera just simply gets it wrong. So I'm very happy to see those put in. All right, so like I said, nothing earth-shattering with what Apple did in iOS 14. It's not groundbreaking technology or anything, far from it. But the tweaks they did make me very happy. Some of them I don't really care about. I don't really care about the mirrored selfie and the burst photos, but be aware of the abilities there. Having the app function better, faster, that's a good thing. The 4 frames per second, personally, again, I don't use it, but for the ones that do, that's a bonus for you. For me, the big thing is the exposure within the photo, how I can just adjust the exposure without adjusting the focus. That is very good. And the stack, and I can play with that, and I have more control over those functions. And again, in the video, being able to change the resolution in the app is great, because if I want to do a bit of slow-mo, I can pop at 4K 60, so I've got that higher frame rate, so I can slow that clip down a bit in post. Having it within the app is fantastic to do it on the fly. Also, having that exposure control without locking my focus, I love having that in the video. So I'm quite happy with what they've done. Like they say, there's nowhere else to go but up. They're going to continually improve these products as time and time goes on. So very happy. Let me know what your favorite feature of the iOS 14 is in relation to photo video. I didn't get into any of the other stuff because this is a photo video channel. All right, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that bell notification so you're aware when I post new videos. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. So, until the next time.